I had a couple of draws and I had a couple of losses. For Terrence, he's never been turned away as a professional. He's never been beaten. And we don't have a blueprint on how to beat him.
At all.
You know what you're looking at. Every fighter has holes, every fighter has weaknesses, but nobody's been able to exploit his weaknesses to a point where he can take an L.
It's the big fight. Canelo versus Crawford. This is a monumental clash, with Crawford jumping up 2 weight classes to challenge this decade's face boxing, Canelo Alvarez. Everyone talks about speed versus power, or timing versus toughness, but the real factor here is the mind game. After all, the human race has always achieved greatness with planning, strategy, and ingenious tactics. The size difference is the elephant in the room. It's generally not wise to skip 2 weight classes and challenge undisputed legends without tune-up fights at that weight. But Crawford had one tough fight at 154 and then decided to jump into the lion's den. The fight against Madrimov was tough, but was it because of weight? It's arguable, but Crawford definitely wasn't being bullied. I would say he could handle 154, maybe even 160. It's not crazy, but 168 is a tall task. It's not impossible, but planning is crucial. The question isn't necessarily the weight, but it's who he's fighting. Now, Canelo is not a large 168 pounder. He settled into that weight class. He belongs comfortably there, but let's not forget, Canelo came up from 140 in his early career. He's fought since he was 15 years old. He's had time to mature and grow, but his first titles were at 147. Still, size is an advantage for Canelo, especially if Crawford plays with fire and lets himself get hit. This leads to the real factors that make the fight. I see him playing with a tight close guard. With a mobile upper body, he uses shell guard at times, but mostly using a lot of head movement and slips. He's less likely to use floating footwork like Ali or Pacquiao. He walks and stalks with you. You get efficient steps that takes you to the corner, and then he pounces on a weakness, tearing you apart with immense offense born from his pressure. This is his lion-type behaviors at their best. Playing and tapping at the opponent, and then pouncing for the finish. At his worst, he's an alligator. Now, what's an alligator? Well, think. Alligators stalk you from the waters. They may creep up close and close the distance in unsuspecting prey, but in the end, they must lunge out of the water and capture their prey for the death roll. This is how Bivol won, drawing out his lunges and making sure to close the jaws of the alligator from a superior position. Since he's out of reach, he has to come into his range. Hey guys, if you want to learn more about using the Wing Chun ring in boxing training, or about the 9 predator types of Wugong boxing, then join my school.com/Wugong boxing website. Got a film study archive and a technique library. Join us. Crawford may not be perfect, but his record is. None of his wins are really controversial, and he definitely made people eat their words more than once. Gambo will test him, KO's Gambo. Khan is too fast, KO's Khan. Porter's too strong, KO's Porter. Spence is the best, KO's Spence. He has a habit of defying the perceived odds. When he became the first to finish Sean Porter, I knew Spence would not fare well against him. Now Crawford's style, he uses several guard positions. He's got a front guard, he's got the closed guard, he uses the shell, and sometimes the binding and shield guard. He seems to be more flexible in these positions. His footwork is also pretty direct, but he does seem to move a bit more than Canelo. The biggest key is the southpaw position. Canelo hasn't fought a switch hitter that can switch like Crawford. The closest we have is Daniel Jacobs, and Jacobs was able to land some good offense from that position. Now Crawford is the best switch hitter of our generation, and the southpaw stance can be quite troublesome for a closed guard. These positions seem to give Crawford an advantage, but there's one key aspect we need to understand about this fight, and that's behavior. Now, we talked about Canelo's lion-alligator tendencies a little bit, but Crawford may have an ace here, or it may be his downfall. Crawford baits better than anyone in the game. He is a master baiter. He displays mongoose behaviors, okay? The mongoose is seemingly unassuming, but they kill and eat cobras daily. If you don't know about this, they taunt and hiss at cobras from the edge of their range. They draw them out, and then they counter their counter strikes with their own. This sounds a lot like Crawford, sneaking in those counter punches when people lunge and strike at him. He is an anti-counter puncher. This is so dangerous. Think about it. Mongoose are immune to cobra poison. Cobra poison is like when the counterpunch hits you and it discourages your offense. It makes you second guess your game. He's immune to that. He is fixed in his objective and he is confrontational in his method. He's tricky, he's taunting, he's got an anti-counter style that's well suited to draw out and frustrate Canelo. Now that being said, with a tempered approach, Crawford still has to take the risk of taking a bad shot while testing and poking and prodding the bear. Crawford is wise, but this fight is demanding perfection. Overall, the edge in style and fight IQ goes to Crawford. He has more flexibility in hand position, stances, and his discipline is unbroken. This is not a drastic edge though. Size and power goes to Canelo. And though this too is not as big as people think, it is a factor. This fight is generational. Regardless of who wins, we get to see a true challenger shoot to become a legend. Who do you think will win? Let's see Saturday night.